Te Pātaka o Rākaihautū Banks Peninsula Community Board report. Hey.
So I just wanted to start with something very special first off. We've lost two very special men in our community this last week, and I just wanted to acknowledge them. So this morning as I walked out, I picked up some of the ferns out of my garden in the dark of the night, but they actually remind me of Peri, Tainui and George Tikau, in that they're strong and firm. And you see that a few hours later, they're still strong and firm. So I just want to start with a karakia that Peri, we worked through this about a fortnight ago on a Takapuniki working party meeting. And it goes, this is it. Te kua te wairua ki ngā tamata. Hei ahi e tātou mahi. Me tātua wi I te kanga a Ratumā. Ki kora e I ngā rau. Ki papuri, ki wakamā. Ka tina, tina, huia, tina. And it is allow one's spirit to exercise its potential to guide us in our work as well as in our pursuits of our ancestral traditions. Take hold and preserve it. Ensure it's never lost. Hold fast, secure it, draw together. So George and Peri were two very special gentlemen, rangatira, who we have worked alongside over a number of years. And you will remember when we came to the council with the conservation document here about Takapuniki, and since then we have produced a reserve management plan or a management plan around Takapuniki as well. But these two gentlemen have really stood up for their iwi, have worked for us well. And I just wanted to make a few comments about both the gentlemen. George Tikau was born in Rapaki, and so a lot of his time was spent around Rapaki, but also he was at Anuku as well. He was a man of great prana and he stood tall, and he advanced the interests of iwi and held an encyclopedic knowledge of Ngāi Tahu and Pātaka Rākaihautū. He was heavily involved in Nuku, around the build of Korowiko, chair of a Runanga and representative of Te Runanga Ngāi Tahu. In resolving the Echo wrongs, which were the Akaroa wrongs around Takapuniki, he led us. George was a leader. In the recognition of the significance of Takapuniki, we've got a lot of work to do to complete that. We're also acknowledged that he was a leader in the removal of looking at the removal of Akaroa wastewater from the Akaroa harbour, and there are many other projects. George was laid to rest at Rapaki on a very wet, miserable day. An amazing ceremony. So Peri is a man with a passion. He was a mentor. He loved to share his information and experiences, particularly around Mahinga Kai. We worked on the Water Zone Committee. We worked on the Akaroa wastewater, Devotion's wastewater. He was passionate about the environment. He was a renowned storyteller. He loved to tell a story, valued the importance of caring and sharing those stories with us. He was involved in advocacy for the recognition of wahitapu and the environment and the Akaroa harbour and Anawi. He took on social responsibility and cared for his whānau and his community. He was well loved, and he served and he ensured that his extensive knowledge of the local environment in Mahinga Kai was shared with us all. He played rugby. He was a great rugby supporter. There were over 500 at his funeral on Friday, Tangi on Friday. Great recognition of his relationship with his community and his love and our love for him. So I just wanted to also acknowledge that we thank the City Council for what they support, how they supported Anuku and Rapaki, I would imagine in some way. I sat beside Mike Burke at Rapaki, but the council provided some other support to Anuku at the Friday tangi. So just we remember those, and our araha goes out to Perry's family and Rick and his whānau.
Kia ora. Look, I just think that I would like everyone to stand for a minute's silence as we acknowledge John Perenara Peri, Tainui, and George Waitai Tikau, and acknowledge them for the tremendous service that they gave the whole community. Kia ora, thank you.
Is it appropriate to ask Kaharoa to close this little portion that we've had about these two fine gentlemen? I opened with a karakia, and so perhaps he might just close that with something?
And I would like you to take back our sincere condolences, our sympathy, but also gratitude to their families and to their marae.
We've got a lovely challenge ahead of us to finish all those projects that we have in hand in their memory.
Yes. Thank you.
Kia taunga nā ki tango te wā ingau, ki runga I tēnā o tātou. Toi te aroha, toi te mana, toi te kupu, toi te whenua kia tūturu o piti whakamaua kia tīna. Tīna, hau, hui e...
Tai kia. Kia ora, thank you.
So I feel a bit, I don't really want to go and talk on about things that are in ours, like the graffiti on the wall at in Littleton, but we'll just move on and highlight a few things through there. So life goes on. So what's the first one we've got? Thanks, Joan. Oops. We're not linked. Here we are. So look, can I just welcome Joan back to the team? Joan's had a lovely long holiday, and so we welcome her back. And we have actually got some new staff that we welcome back to, or new staff that we welcome on board to Banks Peninsula. But the first one there is, well, I'll talk about any of those. Graffiti on the Heritage Building. Now this is graffiti on the Torpedo Boat Museum, and it's at Magazine Bay. And it's just been acknowledged at our meeting on Monday that it had fallen through the cracks, and the repair and the removal of it hasn't been completed. So we hope that happens instantly from now on, and we look back at it in its former glory. So we have got Maria Adamski looking at the building and the seawalls around it as well. So it's a very important building, but with graffiti on it like that, it just attracts more graffiti. So we need to get rid of it. So the next one is, this is an amazing project that we've been undertaking, or that the members of our community, Department of Conservation, MPI, Akaroa Taipuri, Environment Canterbury, Christchurch City Council, have been looking at marine signage, particularly in Akaroa, around the slipway. That with all of those organisations involved, they've all got a stand with whatever their information they're providing to the community. So this particular team have got together and has spent some time down at the jetty. Tim Hennessy, he's a recreational boatie and a casual Department of Conservation staff member. And so the new board that we will have will show the new rules and regulations and the proposed rules and things particularly around our marine environment. And that's quite appropriate. Where would you anywhere in the world perhaps see a dolphin at the head of in devotionals and see them out at the heads. So maybe that may become a sign of the future. We haven't decided that yet. So I just really wanted to talk about with this that the increasing number of tourists that are coming to our Akaroa Museum. I think you should remember a few years ago we were actually charging visitors to come to the museum, but now that charge has been removed. I'm not quite sure what year it was, but you can certainly see in recent years, in the last 2 years there, that the exponential growth that we've had with local visitors, which is the orangey colour, and the blue is the cruise. So that's creating considerable pressures for over 40,000 visitors this year in the museum in Akaroa, so considerable pressures on it. It is an amazing museum, and there's an amazing exhibition coming up. The Menzies exhibition later in the year. So that'll be it's an interesting exhibition, and we hope that you all might come see it. It's a Pākehā that's done some carvings, and so there's going to be a great debate about that and some good stories around it. Is that the last one that we had?
We missed one.
And the skate park. Well, this is having an upgrade in 2006. It was the work was done on it with the community and the school. I think it might have several lighthouses on it. So this time we're only allowed one lighthouse on it, but it is being redone. There has been a bit of graffiti on it that was removed instantly, and it'll look pristine shortly once we get everybody involved. There's been quite a bit of consultation around it. So those were just a few highlights out of our report for this time.
Thank you. Any questions? Yanni?
Can I too just acknowledge George Tekau, particularly for me as a panel member on the Takapuniki hearing to classify the reserve. I just wanted to really just acknowledge his amazing deputation and his strong support for us to recognise Takapuniki with dignity and respect that it deserves. And I think he was absolutely instrumental in council agreeing to do that. Just one question really, and it may not surprise you, it's a question I've asked numerous times. And,
progress.
I just think we need a council resolution now for the unlicensed structures on Akaroa Wharf. I'm just repeatedly concerned that we've got non-compliant structures. This has been going on, I don't know how many years, 3 years?
Yes, several years, yes.
I think council needs to just get some action on this. Clearly the board is struggling to progress it.
Well, we're still working through it, and I don't know that they've come to a stalemate where there's not much more that can be actually done. It's being worked through to the best outcome that can possibly be achieved.
I don't quite understand how people can just build non-compliant structures on our property and have no consequence.
Right. It's happened, so we need to. The council staff are working through it. I haven't really got anything more to add to it, Andrew.
Okay.
We haven't got any more to add.
So, is there anything that we can do as a council in terms of a resolution to support the board to get a resolution to that? That's really my question.
You're expecting a report back at your next meeting from staff?
We've been asking for a wee while, but it hasn't been forthcoming.
Can we
but
add
maybe it may be a push before the end of the term that we get a good
just
reply.
Add an additional request staff to provide an update to the community board at the. Is it the next meeting, or is it how many more meetings have?
We've got 3 more meetings to go. So
right, but you've got another meeting. Is there only one more meeting before you come back to council?
Yes.
Yes. So provide an update to the community board in time to report back to the next council meeting.
Yes.
So that the community board is able to report back to us about this.
It does seem very operational as well. Like, surely this is just an issue for management and compliance to address.
Yeah, the whole point of this, and I've raised this a few times, is that if we have a Part A report which comes to council, and it's simply a recommendation to ask for a report, then we can just add this in. It just adds weight to the reporting regime. That's all right.
Thank you.
Right. Would you like to move this, Andrew? Anyone like to second it? Tim Scandrett.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. I thought it was going to fail for the want of a seconder.
You're very
They're not all asleep, are they?
Any discussion? Oh, Andrew, surprise.
I will just make a very quick comment on the Akaroa Wharf unlicensed structures matter. It has been going on for a long time, and I do think this resolution will be helpful in moving it along, although I've got every confidence that staff have been doing everything they can. In a very complicated situation, the background to the matter is less than clear-cut, it's fair to say, but it would be really good to get some resolution to this in this council term. It does need some resolution. This will help us, but I wouldn't want anybody to left with an impression that staff haven't been working hard on this and doing what they can, and the board hasn't been pushing hard for a resolution in what actually is a very complex situation with a complex history that goes back over quite a long period.
I suspect existing rights, and, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say anything. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.